we'll rock and roll.
All right. Hey, guys, I can't see anybody from where I'm at, but I want to welcome everybody to the call. I was really excited when I heard from Arnold and we talked about him coming to our group because we're all a part of the Ninja family. And what we try to do personally in our group is we send people to the Ninja group and to this group. So we're all part of this Ninja family. And some of you know Arnold from the video that he did, or some people did of him, where what was it? It was $1,000 to $200,000 in 11 months, I think. And I think a lot of people saw that and they came to know who you were through that. And so we're part of this family, and Arnold's going to encourage us tonight, and as we kind of transition into the new year. And so we're glad to have him. So welcome, Arnold.
Thanks, Chuck. It's an honor and privilege to be here. I've gotten to know you pretty decent over the last a little over a year now, I guess. And met you through John and through John Guterman. And I know you guys have been doing some great things over here. And it gets to be that time of year, right? It's the end of the year, it's the holidays, and a lot of people get busy with other stuff. So I just try to kind of reach out to everyone on my team best I can. It's, I do some in the Ninja group. Paul Turner does more than I do for a couple reasons. One is he's in the UK, so he's 5 hours ahead of me here on the East Coast. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. And he's 5 hours ahead of me, so he kind of jumps. He always gets ahead of me when he gets online to do videos. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, I don't need to piggyback on stuff that he's already done and said. But every now and then I have some thoughts that I want to share with the team. But there's so much going on in the Ninja group, and there's so many people in the Ninja group that sometimes, things kind of get pushed down, through the feed, and announcements don't get seen or don't get heard as a result of that. So, Chuck, you've put together a nice team here. So I wanted to spend some time with your team just to say, hey, some of you may not even know who I am. You might have somewhat of an idea of who I am through the Ninja group. And, a lot of people have heard my story. IML has completely changed my life and my wife's life. I thank God every day for IML and for Forex trading. If it wasn't for IML, I wouldn't be a Forex trader right now. The one thing I like about IML, even though it has a networking aspect to it, it's the first networking company I've been a part of, and I've been around in the industry for 25 years. And it's the first one I've been a part of where you don't have to rely on the company being around, for that matter, to make any money. If you're participating in the network aspect of thing, the extra commission that comes from that is nice. And obviously you do need IML to be around to pay out the commissions. But they're teaching us a skill. If you take advantage of what they offer, they're teaching us a skill that nobody can ever take away from you. Whether they're around or not, you're learning that skill, and you can take that with you anywhere you go. And even Chris Terry, he's probably the first CEO I've ever heard say this. He says, listen, my goal is to teach you a skill where you don't even need me anymore. You can leave IML if you want to, because you've learned the skill of trading and you don't need IML to trade anymore. What I love about IML, though, is the tools and the services and the strategies and the support that we receive to help us improve upon. Because it's one of those things you're always learning, always, always, always learning. Look at Eric Garrison. Some of you may or may not know who Eric Garrison is. He's a guy on our team. He's on the Ninja team. He's been trading for 20 years. He's a multi-million-dollar trader, and I can vouch for that because I saw his account when I was in Florida at the Fort Lauderdale convention back in September, I guess it was. And so I can vouch for the fact he has a massive account, and he trades big. I'll flat out tell you, for those of you that have been trading, you know what a lot size is, right? And I thought I was doing something special. I trade, most of you know, I trade a $50,000 account, and I typically use anywhere, depending on the stop loss, I usually use somewhere around a five standard lots or a 5.0 lot. So I thought I was doing something special till I saw Eric's account. He trades anywhere from 100 to 300 lots. All right. So when he grabs 1,000 pips, that's a lot of money. You think 100 lots, 1,000 pips, that's $1 million, right? And he's had $5 million weeks before. So you got to wonder, why in the world with a guy that's had that much success trading, he's been trading for 20 years, he's got a strategy that he's teaching all of IML right now that has already created almost 60 millionaires. He's helped almost 60 people become millionaires with his strategy over the course of the last 15 years. It's created literally millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for him. Why would he join IML? Why would he need IML, right? And that just kind of proves how good the quality of the services and the support that IML provides, is that someone like that would want to come on board. Same with Steve Greger. Steve Greger's been trading for 15 years. Very, very, very successful trader. You know, why would Stephen Hooley come over and provide his services to IML? I mean, he's worked with major, massive, multi-billion-dollar hedge funds have used his services before. Basically the same thing that he provides to us through the web analyzer. Multi-billion-dollar hedge funds have used a very similar service to that Stephen provided to them. Okay, so we have unbelievable services here. And that's why I love IML, because we can make money without needing to recruit anybody if we don't want to. I personally like to do that. I've done that. I've been, like I said, I've been in and around networking for 25 years. I personally like to, you know, enroll people and help people get started and teach people how to trade. I've been doing it now full time for a little over 2.5 years. And I've learned a lot in the last 2.5 years. But the cool thing is we got some great people on our team that have way more experience than I do. Michelangelo Martin is another one. I mean, he's been trading now for right at 11 years, I think. And, you know, Michael's a great story because, and this should encourage everybody. It encourages me every day. You know, you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs in trading. I'm not really sure how good or how bad your 2018 has been. You know, I know some people struggled through 2018. They didn't have the greatest year trading. But don't quit, okay? Don't quit on yourself. Michelangelo Martin failed for 5 straight years when he first started. He literally lost hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to figure this Forex thing out. And he was trying to do it all on his own. You know, he's trying to subscribe to some educational stuff here, some tools there, paying lots of money. I mean, he was subscribing to a signal service similar to Swipe Trades, and he was paying, I think, $750 a month. $750 a month just for Swipe Trades, in essence, is what he was subscribing to. And all that did was send out an initial trade signal. It didn't send out updates or anything like that, like what Swipe Trades does now. So, you know, when people start to complain about the cost of IML, you know, if you have the elite service that includes everything with, you know, with taxes and everything, I think it's, what is it, like $220 a month, something like that, with taxes included, and maybe a little less than that. And you think about what Michelangelo Martin, he was subscribing basically just to Swipe Trades alone, and he was spending almost $1,000 a month just on Swipe Trades. So the fact that we get it for an extra $15 a month on top of our base, you know, subscription is pretty stinking amazing, pretty amazing. And most of you know, Swipe Trades completely changed my life. I mean, that's what I started with, because I didn't know anything about anything when it came to trading. Nothing. I did not know what a pip was. I didn't even know what Forex stood for when I started. So I didn't know anything. So when I saw these Swipe Trade signals coming out and that you could copy and paste them, I got excited about that. So I implemented that. And then I implemented the Ninja strategy, which I figured that out after probably 6 months or so of playing around. And that's kind of why our group is called the Ninja Group. And that, I didn't name it that. That actually came from Paul Turner. And he called it the Ninja strategy. Or he called me a ninja, and then we called it the Ninja strategy, and then it kind of took on a whole life of its own. So I did not name the group the Ninja Group, but I kind of like it because we're a bunch of ninjas. And but you know what? Right now, I love the bounce back strategy, which is the strategy that Eric Garrison is teaching everybody. And that's the strategy that I'm personally pushing everybody that I get involved with IML. I'm pushing them to the bounce back right out of the gates, right out of the gates. It's one. So if you haven't already started to implement it or started to learn it or demo it, I always recommend demoing it. I even demoed that strategy for the first 2 weeks that I was playing around with it. And I've been trading at that point almost, well, that was probably 4 months ago. So a little over 2 years. I've been trading a little over 2 years on a live account. But still, when I was trying to learn a new strategy, like the bounce back strategy, I started on a demo account and I demoed for 2 weeks. And I'd actually demoed for the 2 weeks leading up to the Florida convention. And I got to spend some time with Eric in Florida, got to bounce a couple of questions off of him, get some little bit more clarity, because it was still new to everybody back then. And I think there's been a lot more, training, and there's a lot more clarity about how all the different indicators work and so on and so forth now. Back then, I still had a couple of questions that he helped clarify for me. And I went live my first week coming out of convention. So it was like the week of the 15th, September 15th. And it's been amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. Not just for me personally, but the thing that I get most excited about is seeing this strategy help people across the board. I mean, the results that we're seeing across the board are amazing. This week was a little weird. There was a lot of really good setups in the market this week, and most of it was with NZD pairs. So if you got stuck in some NZD pairs this week like I did, probably didn't work out that great. But the markets are weird. That this time of year, and I put a video in the Ninja group this past weekend. I was actually out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, just got back on Tuesday. And my wife's brother lives out there with his family. And so we were out in Albuquerque. So we went up to the Sandia Peak, which is a big mountain just on the outskirts of Albuquerque. So we went up there one day and I did a video from up there. And I kind of talked about how this is an interesting time of year to be trading. And I did the same video in the group last year. So if you've been around for more than a year, you probably remember me doing that video around Thanksgiving last year as well. So just know moving forward between now and really the second week of January, to be quite honest with you, the markets tend to be a little weird. And the reason being is because all the professional traders, all the 9-to-5 traders, they're all taking vacations, right? So you got a lot of different things going on right now. You got end of month here in November, right? You got end of month in November. Last week we had Thanksgiving, which is a weird week because of the holiday, at least in the U.S. Now this week we have end of month. Next week we have NFP, non-farm payroll, on Friday of next week. And then we're literally only a couple of weeks away from Christmas. So now we're truly getting into the Christmas, New Year's holiday. And everyone's taking vacation. Everyone's wrapping up their year, all the professional, all the big, hedge fund traders and big bank traders and so on and so forth. They're kind of just going into chillax mode, and they take vacations this time of year, and there's very little volume in the markets this time of year. And the volume that is there is very sporadic. And this week is kind of a good, this last weekend this week is kind of a good example of that, because for all intents and purposes, all the NZD pairs were all set up perfectly for big moves back to the 50-day moving average based on the bounce back strategy. And the NZD has been extremely, extremely stubborn the last couple of weeks, and it just hasn't done what it should do based on the setups. The setups are there. And in normal market conditions, I think everyone would have won huge in the last week or two. But because of the weird time of year, everything went a little haywire, right? So if you got stuck in some NZD pairs, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't have the greatest week this week either because of that. But you know what? That's what's so great about trading, is that it'll be okay. As long as you're using proper risk management, and that's the key, man. I teach that to everybody, and I harp on it like crazy. Proper risk management is so, so important. So important. But you know what? With this strategy moving forward into 2019, I hope all of you are super, super, super excited about what this strategy will do for you in 2019. This strategy is going to set so many people free, financially free. In 2019, it's going to be amazing to watch. And the only way you can take advantage of that is if you're still here, all right? So no matter where you are right now, no matter if you had a great 2018, a not so good 2018, a terrible 2018, whatever the case may be, I personally am more confident and more excited moving forward now than I ever have. January will be 3 years. The end of January, January 25th, actually, will be my 3-year anniversary with IML. So I've been here just under 3 years, and I've loved IML from day one. But I'm more confident now moving forward than ever because of the fact that we have the bounce back strategy now. And what makes the bounce back strategy so different than really anything we've ever been able to offer to people that joined our team in the past is a couple of things. One, again, you got Eric Garrison teaching it. Eric Garrison, 20-year, multi-million-dollar trader who came up with this strategy and developed this strategy and has been tweaking the strategy for 15 years. So it's got a 15-year track record of success. It's not a strategy that someone came up 2 months ago. You know, it's been around for 15 years. It's been through every market condition you can think of, okay? It's already created almost 60 millionaires. And part of the reason for that is because it's so objective, right? Most strategies, I mean, you know, I've had a lot of success with the Ninja strategy, swipe trades and Ninja. That's pretty much all I did for almost the first 2 years of my trading. I started implementing a few other things back in January of this year. I started following Stevenson Lindor on IML TV, and he's more of a long-term swing trader. But really, up until January, pretty much all I did was swipe trades and the Ninja strategy. That's all I did. So for a full year and a half, all I did was Ninja and swipe trades. January of this year, I started implementing and following Stevenson Lindor. So I started to learn how to become more of a long-term swing trader and how to become more patient. It requires a lot of patience to be a long-term swing trader. You got to wait for the setup, and you got to wait for the market to do what it's supposed to do once you're in the trade, right? It requires a lot of patience. But the good thing is you don't have to sit there and stare at charts all day long. That's what's so great about learning how to become a long-term swing trader is, you know, each candle is only one day, right? The new candle only forms, 5 p.m. Eastern time every single day, 4 p.m., Central time, and so on and so forth. So you don't have to spend a lot of time looking at the charts because it takes a while for them to form. But the problem with the Ninja strategy, even though that I had a lot of success with it personally, I mean, I developed it. So I kind of figured out some little tweaks and some little tricks here and there and stuff like that. And I tried to teach it to people. That's why we did a few months. I think it was back in the spring. I think it was back in May, maybe. We did a 90-day boot camp in the Ninja group. And I think it was like the first 4 or 5 weeks of that boot camp, all we talked about was swipe trades and the Ninja strategy. So I tried to teach people, the different little intricacies, the different little tweaks and stuff like that, but it's a very subjective strategy. And some people did well with it and some people bombed with it, to be quite frank. I've done very well with it. Some other people started to get the hang of it once we went through that boot camp. But more people were struggling with it than were winning with it, and it's because it's a very subjective strategy. Most strategies are. Even a strategy that Michael Martin teaches that he's been using for many years. Actually, he's been using for about 5 or 6 years. Once he figured some stuff out, I told you he failed for 5 years, right? He failed for 5 years, but he never gave up. He never quit. Some people have a bad week and they quit. He had bad 5 years. But he never quit because he knew what Forex could do for him. And now the last 5 or 6 years since he kind of figured it out, he's 10x'd in profits what he lost in his first 5 years. So you can ask him straight up, would you do it again? Would you go through it again? He says, absolutely, I'd do it all over again. And one of the things that finally turned it around for him is he figured out this strategy. He calls it the Guppy strategy. A very, very successful strategy, phenomenal strategy. But again, it's very subjective because you have to be able to recognize certain trends and stuff like that. and you have to be able to draw trend lines and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, some people see it and some people don't, right? So it's a phenomenal strategy, but it's a very subjective strategy. What's so beautiful about the bounce back strategy is it's very objective. There's really no guesswork involved, really. It's very, very simple to see. So, you know, and we've made it even easier now, or Stephen Hooley made it even easier now with the web analyzer. We call it the Bounce Back 2.0. He's got the power trades that are being called out through the web analyzer. And if you're not part of the Bounce Back group, I highly recommend you get into the Bounce Back group. Let me, where do I want to go? Let me go. I want to show you guys something. Let me go here. There's me, not good. All right, the Bounce Back Strategy group. If you guys are not in the Bounce Back Strategy group, you definitely want to be in the Bounce Back Strategy group, okay? It's an open group, and so all you got to do, you do have to be approved to get into the group. Look at that, it's already got 4,200 members. I mean, they just started this group maybe a month or so ago, maybe a little over a month ago, something like that. So there's already 4,200 members in this group. So if you're not part of this group, just come in and ask to be added to the group. You'll be approved because it's an open group. And but also Michael Martin did a great video in here earlier today. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Somewhere in here. Anyway, he did a really good video where he talked about how, you know, with the, man, where the heck is it? You know what? Let me see. You know, if you're using the web analyzer and you're using if you're using the power trades, you know, he talks about how you can actually do a quick little analysis of your own to get yourself into the best trades, because some of these trades, the setups aren't ideal, to be quite frank with you, especially the shorter term trades, you know, the 15-minute trades and so on and so forth. They're not ideal. So what he talks about is how you can, and I'll actually show you here real quick. Let me do a new share. I'll pull up the web analyzer. All right, he talks about how when a new signal comes up, like this one up here, this one here is the Euro odd on the 15-minute. And he talks about these settings over here. All right, so what you want to do, if you're using this tool, which I highly recommend, this is a phenomenal tool, okay? This is a phenomenal tool. They've done a really good job with this, and Stephen Hooley is constantly tweaking it and stuff like that, so he's going to make it even better as time goes on. But you want to make these settings. You can't, for whatever reason, he can't set the default right out of the gate, so you have to go in here and set these parameters. So the Bollinger Bands, set them at 50, and the way to do that is just click this little arrow here, go down to Settings, and then change it to 50, okay? And you can set that as the default too, so it'll pop up on all of your, let me show you again. If you set here the default, you set save as default. So whatever, when you change it to 50, click save as default, and then click OK. And then this one here, the EMA, set it to 20. Again, go to Settings, set it to 20, set it as your default, and click OK. And then the SARS, 0.03, 0.02, 0.2. I think that's set up that way automatically, but these two up here are the two you have to change. And then when you go from one chart to another, it'll automatically be there for you, okay? So again, basically what he's doing is he's talking about, listen, you want to make sure that you put yourself in the best situation or the best scenario based on the strategy itself, right? So this one here, the GBP odd, it's a 60-minute. This came out, you know, this came out a few hours ago, but you want to make sure it's the hour. It's a 60-minute, but it pulls up to 30 minutes. So sometimes you got to make sure you get to the correct chart, okay? And this one was a buy on the GBP odd, and it was about 5 hours ago, something like that. I think, let me see here. Yeah, it's a little over 5 hours, a little 5.5 hours ago. So if we're on the hour chart, So this one really, honestly, is not a perfect setup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 hours ago. It's right about there, right? So it hasn't. See, these are the Bollinger Bands right here. So the price pushed outside the Bollinger Bands back here, but when the buy was called, it was up in here. So is it a perfect match? No. I mean, it's decent because it got outside the Bollinger Bands over here, but again, you can see it went really flat. You can see it went really flat and actually went down a little bit since that buy was called out. So just by doing a quick little analysis for yourself, you can kind of put yourself in a really good scenario, especially on these really short time frames. You know, these little 15-minute time frames, right? You can get a bunch of these throughout the day. If you like sitting in front of the computers, or even at night, let's say you only have a couple minutes at night, you got an hour or two at night to do some trading, you can get in some 15-minute signals, right? So, but again, you take advantage of what we have here and make sure that you put yourself in the best place possible to get yourself some wins. And you will get some major wins using this tool if you take 30 more seconds to do a quick analysis to make sure that everything lines up against the actual strategy, right? And if you don't know what the strategy is, again, go back to the bounce back group. Get yourself into the bounce back group and go back through the training. Now, also, if you're in the Ninja group, all right, let me show you that. If you're not in the Ninja group and you're an active IML subscriber, hey, look, there's Paul right there. Where is it? Right there. If you're not in the Ninja group, get in the Ninja group if you're an active subscriber. In the process, it's a kind of a painstaking process, but I'm in the process of cleaning out the group from non-active members because there's been a lot of non-active members in the group getting a lot of free content for quite a while now, so we're starting to clean it all out. But if you go to the unit section in our Ninja group, you will see here there's a whole section on the bounce back strategy, okay? And you can watch the training. You can watch the training that's in here and learn the settings and learn what to look for and so on and so forth. And I strongly, strongly recommend using this strategy moving into 2019. Strongly recommend it. Highly encourage it. IML has a ton of great stuff, ton of great educators, ton of great strategies. I mean, even the web analyzer, just as is, if you implement the strategies that they have built into it, you will win. I mean, we have people on our team who have completely replaced their full-time income, quit their jobs within 6 months just using the web analyzer. And that was before the power trades came out. So the web analyzer is a phenomenal tool if you implement the strategies that we have built into it, like Davin's 4 rules. There's a few other ones, but and now we have the Gold Cup, right? Which is a strategy on trading gold. It's a combination of two things: strategy of trading gold, and then there's another strategy called the teacup strategy. And that particular tool kind of gives you signals. It's almost like the harmonic scanner. It's looking for certain patterns within that are based around those strategies. And that's all built in there. People are having a lot of success with that as well. But me personally, I am focusing 100%. All of my focus is on bounce back. I actually, personally, I turned off swipe trades, which is kind of a big deal for me because swipe trades completely changed my life. But because of the consistency of the bounce back strategy, and because of the fact that we're seeing so many people across the board see major success with the bounce back strategy, I'm putting all my focus on the bounce back strategy, and I'm highly recommending all of my people focus on the bounce back strategy. So that's my recommendation to you guys moving into 2019, finishing out this year. If you're going to do some trading the rest of this year, I suggest sticking with more shorter term trades. Like if you want to use the web analyzer and the power trades, I would kind of pay a little bit more attention to the shorter term 15-minute and 60-minute trades, just because you can kind of get in, you can grab some pips, get out. And rather than counting on the markets following long-term structure, because the markets are so weird this time of year. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do some trading, look at doing more short-term trading between now and at least through the first week of January. Because again, here in December coming up, I've already talked about it. I mean, we had Thanksgiving last week. This week we got end of month November. Next week we got non-farm payroll, which is always a weird week of the month. And then we only have a couple more weeks until Christmas and then New Year's, right? So we're really in a weird time of the year. And then even once January 1 comes around, people are, even professional traders, right? They kind of come off vacation. They're just kind of slowly but surely getting into the new year. The markets don't really figure out what they want to do until the second or third week of the month in January. So, and then plus you got non-farm payroll again the first week of January. So, it's a weird time to trade. And that's why I highly recommend, if you're going to trade, you stick with shorter term trades between now and probably the second week of January. But then the rest of the year, 2019, I can't stress this enough. 2019 is going to be so absolutely mind-boggling for people because of what we have. And on top of everything else, we have the Bounce Back Manager coming out literally any day now. And if you don't know what that is, it's an EA, which stands for Expert Advisor. It's very similar. Actually, it's not the same exact thing, but like the Angel Bot and the Exit Manager or the Exit Manager Pro. If you guys have been using any of those tools, those are also EAs. Those are also expert advisors. They're automated softwares that help manage your trades for you. Well, what we've done is we've developed another EA to manage the bounce back strategy for us on autopilot. Okay? So it's in testing mode right now. For the last couple of weeks, we've had a handful of people on the team testing it, making sure there aren't any bugs in it. And we will be rolling that out to the team literally any day now. And that is going to make your trading so much easier. The strategy is already easy. It's just going to make the management of that strategy so much easier. Because what's going to happen is, the web analyzer makes it a little bit different, but the original strategy that Eric Garrison created, and one of the reasons why he joined IML is because of the harmonic scanner, because it made his strategy so much easier and so much more effective, because he didn't have to sit there and watch all the charts all the time and wait for the setups. The harmonic scanner hands him the perfect setup on a silver platter. And then it goes on his watch list. So when a daily chart, he basically trades the daily and the 4 hour is what Eric Garrison trades. So when he waits for a daily pattern to pop up on the harmonic scanner. When it does, it goes on his watch list. And then he's watching for the right parameters for those SARS dots to flip based on his strategy. But he doesn't pay any attention to those markets until it actually shows up on the scanner. So now what we're going to be able to do with the Bounce Back Manager is when a scan pops up on the scanner, when a pattern pops up on the scanner, doesn't matter what time frame it is. You can trade the daily, you could trade the 4 hour, you could even trade the 1 hour if you wanted to. Use the same strategy. They're a little bit shorter moves. But if you're using the Bounce Back Manager, it's managing it all for you. So when a pattern pops up on the scanner, now it goes in your watch list. Well, then all you'd have to do is pull up that currency pair. Let's say it's the Euro USD. A pattern pops up on the scanner for the Euro USD. You pull up the Euro USD chart on your MT4. You drag and drop the EA or the Bounce Back Manager onto that chart. You enter in, there's a little data field there. You enter in a few pieces of data, how you want it to manage that trade for you, what percentage of risk you want to apply to the trade, so on and so forth. And you hit OK. And then the EA, the Bounce Back Manager, is watching that trade for you. And when the flip happens on the SARS dots, When that flip happens, it'll take the trade for you, and it'll apply the proper lot size based on the percentage of risk that you assign to it. Pretty cool, right? So all you got to do is drag and drop, let it run, and it'll watch it for you. It'll take the trade for you. It'll manage the trade for you, just like the exit manager does now. You can tell it, when to take profit, when to take partial profit. More, the strategy tells you to go down to the 50-day moving average, up or down, depending on if it's a buy or sell. And you can tell it to take full profit at the 50-day moving average. You can tell it to take partial profit, and use a trailing stop from there. Whatever you want to do, you can tell it how to manage your trade for you, and it'll do it all automatically. So whether you're busy working, playing golf, I like to play golf. I spend a lot of time on the golf course. My wife and I spend a lot of time traveling. We just got back from a trip. We got another trip coming. Actually, we got one more trip before the end of the year, and then we got trip in January, trip in February, trip in March. So we take a lot of trips. We take a lot of vacations. And this is going to make it so much easier because now, especially if you're trading the dailies, right? The dailies drag and drop, and you don't have to worry about it. And it's absolutely beautiful, 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 beautiful. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time here. Hopefully I didn't bore the crap out of you guys. Hopefully I maybe encourage you to get through the rest of this year, trade some shorter term trades, but moving into 2019, I'm telling you people, you want to be here for the long run. You want to be here for the long haul because this is going to change your life forever. Eric's goal is to create 1,000 millionaires with the bounce back strategy. We could do that just on our team alone, okay? We could do that just on our team alone. I know for a fact that he's going to create, this strategy is going to create 1,000 millionaires.